Hey everybody, how y'all doing? This your boy Jamal. And let me start the video off. Thank you everybody who came out last night, saw the show. I'm sorry, I was tired. I know y'all say, Jamal, don't worry about it, but I was tired. And I just don't want you guys to think I'm ever not appreciative of you taking your time to come see the show. But we cannot win. We cannot win if the Republican Party has one side that wants to use the same tactics the Democrats are using to make a level playing field, and those who are over-righteous want to stand there and continue to allow the Democrats to use lawfare, use the laws, use the system to punish and do Democrats the best outcome and Republicans the worst. We cannot win. We cannot win. I like Glenn Beck. Him being a Latter-day Saint of Jesus Christ is no problem. I got plenty Latter-day Saint friends. However, when Glenn Beck says we have to stand there, we have to be better than that, the history will look back on us as good. You do understand, if we're dead, we don't hear that. If the country is not here anymore, history is written by those who win. How many of you knew, just to let you know, yesterday was that fake holiday Juneteenth? 3 things I bet you didn't know. Did you know freed men, which was freed blacks, had rights? Even in slave area? True. 100% fact. Freed men could carry guns. Freed men, if you tried to kidnap them and put them in slavery and you knew they had their papers, you was locked up. Your plantation could be shut down. See, these are the things they don't tell you about history. Blacks owned slaves. Not just they doing that because they looking out for their brother. They were slave owners. William Ellison Jr., South Carolina, largest slave owner ever was for blacks. He was so cruel, white folk threatened to take his slaves, the stuff he was doing. He was the biggest contributor to the Confederacy. What we would consider $300 million to the cause. He gave the Confederacy, I think, $1 million back then at that time. He was filthy rich. But they control history and they make everybody think everybody who owned slaves were white. They were Native Americans. And the Native Americans, Indians were more crueler than any white person you could think of. Let me say that one more time. Native Americans were more cruel than any white person you could ever think of to runaway slaves. If you ran away, you know what they did? You talking about the Kunta Kinte part when they cut his foot off? Native American slave owners did that on a regular to blacks. They're black slaves. Cut hands off. Whipped them to where they look like that picture they showed a slave with his back whipped up. They didn't tell you who was the slave master. Notice? They didn't tell you Juneteenth in Texas. Well, you still had to go to the Indian reservations because they still wouldn't let go of their black slaves. And they had to send federal troops on the Indian reservations to free them because they wouldn't let slaves go. See, they don't tell you that part of history. But getting back to what my point is, these people have done everything they could to stop Donald Trump. Tell me why the Republican Party has not went after the media to where they are pulling media credentials. How come we can lose the Second Amendment? The one that says shall not be infringed upon. The only amendment in the Constitution that says shall not be infringed is the one that's mostly infringed. Why? Why is the one that says you have to be peacefully to use it, you don't have to be? The right to peacefully assemble and protest. That don't have to be upheld, the peacefully part. But the Second Amendment that says you shall not be infringed, you infringe it. And the Republicans stand right there. We cannot win if we have Republicans who want to be over-righteous because their children, their grandchildren, their family members are so hell-ridden Democrats, they don't want their family members to suffer for what they did. You know, it's like I was talking about, it's a famous scene in Roots. And she says, that's my George. That's when George came to visit Tilda. And he had his slave papers, and his son was, you know, they had to depict the white racists, but they slipped up. He grabs him and he says, I'm a free man. That's right. I'm her husband, which showed they did allow slaves to marry. The slave master did allow slaves to marry. And he said, and I'm a free man. And when he picked up them papers, his dad was like, whoa, okay, he's a free man. Give him back his gun. Give him back his gun, and walked off. Now, he said, because we want to obey the law. Law? What you mean obey the law? So you mean to tell me there was a law protecting free slaves? But we cannot win. Look at the polls now. The polls have shifted. The Democrat Party wanted to show, oh, Donald Trump was winning, then the polls just switched. They needed this conviction. They need this conviction in order to legitimize what they done and their plan. The plan have always been convict Donald Trump of something, use that as an excuse so they could manipulate polls and making sure that Donald Trump, well, see, he started losing after this, you know, hey, you know, the American people said they can't vote for him. That's what this was all about. Now, I cannot say 3 weeks ago, look at Donald Trump in the polls. Look how much inroads President Trump is making with black voters. Look, the American people want to deport illegal immigrants. Then now that the polls have switched, showing Joe Biden up 2%. Oh, I don't believe the polls. I can't do that. I cannot do that. That's hypocritical. That's wrong. You cannot do that. You have to be consistent, whether you believe them or you don't. I hope that just one poll, and that was a Fox News poll. Really, Fox? But to get back to the point of the video, we cannot win if half want to be over righteous because they don't want to defend their children and their family members, and the other part wants to fight and take the fight to them. Which one are we going to do? Are we going to take the fight to them? Or are we going to not do anything and just appear to be righteous, and the Lord will see that we're being righteous and we'll win? Don't work like that. You can't be a lukewarm nation and expect the Lord to protect you and help you. He told you in his word, if you be I'd rather you be hot or cold. Lukewarm, I'll spew you out. America, we being lukewarm. We got trans and Pride Month and all this crap. You can't be strengthening the hand of the evildoer, the sinner, then trying to uphold righteousness. You can't do both. You got to choose.